Welcome back to yet another session. This time it's going to be a little bit different. I want to dive a little bit more into drawing this time because I'm a little bit short on time. It's already 12 a.m. over here. And so um, for now, I'm just going to try and do some concepts for, I think thinking of a mech sort of drawing that I eventually would want to paint. I think I'd be interested in painting a mech. And drawing, I think, is one of the ways where I can sort of reinforce the things that I think I know about what a mech should look like, or um, what a mech should look like, and um, what are its characteristics that make it a mech. Um, so yeah, right now I'm just doing very general line work and general shapes, trying to keep in mind perspective, being mindful of, um, big, medium, and small shapes. So I'm thinking, like, as a kid, we were lucky enough to have a computer because my dad worked as a computer technician in the Philippines, and one of the uh, one of the benefits about that is that he, you know, we were able to easily get a computer regardless of where we were at financially, and so that opened up the world for us as far as like the familiarization with the tool. And yeah, I think definitely one of the highlights of my childhood, I would say, is having the earlier access to computers before internet. And you know on that computer we would have this game called Mech Warrior, and it was pretty interesting because mech, as a kid, you really wouldn't know what it is. Like, you don't see it in your everyday life. It's not like an animal, but you know, something about the mechs tell you that it's just something that could exist, that can work, because you can tell right away that it's got legs, it's got arms, it's got a body, so it's sort of a lot more similar to you than you think it is. And so yeah, there's always that what do I say? What do I call this? It's always that sense of familiarity with it. They would always seem to have these really really bold legs that are, I don't know how they're powered, but you know, if I think about mechs, they sort of look a lot closer to um like dinosaurs, maybe. Maybe that's the idea behind them originally, like a um robot version of dinosaurs. And what I like about these drawings is that, it really frees up my mind to explore the ideas that are behind the subject that I'm wanting to draw, because it, right now it's just free exploration. It's pretty low commitment compared to as if I've already decided to right away try and paint it. That would be a completely different story. Mm, So this is what I have in my mind right now. Like this is my very surface level idea of what a mech is or how it looks. Um, but yeah, um, something tells me it should have like a main body. It should have legs. It should have arms. Makes me question if arms really are necessary at this point. But maybe it is. Now I'll try to maybe explore some ideas of how a mech would look like if it's being looked at on a on a profile view. Maybe they don't always have to be blocky, you know. Maybe they can have some sort of a freedom to have a little bit of curvatures here and there. And one thing that I always hope I am able to keep in mind whenever I'm drawing these things or whenever I'm drawing in general is that, you know, I should work harder to establish my main shapes. Um, I always tell myself that details are earned. Like, you know, in a drawing, I would notice that you can establish the very basic shapes and you would already have yourself a thing. But if I were to only focus on details, it would be a very blurry sort of illustration because if the details are my foundation, then it's a drawing that's completely lacking a body or a framework to lie in. Um, like I can try to draw a um, really elegant looking piece of metalwork here, but you know, without any context, we wouldn't be really able to tell what this is unless I develop some sort of a general guiding shape for it. Maybe this can be some sort of a fancy chair for a king, right? And that's one of the things I'm hoping to, you know, get it more dialed in as far as doing these drawings to really establish my overall guiding shapes. Details, they can all come later, but establishing your framework if you miss that in the beginning, that's going to be pretty hard to reestablish in the later parts of your drawing. Okay, like if I were to have already had this shape in the beginning, then it wouldn't be so much troublesome to follow through with it whenever I start to go ahead and draw it. So that's one thing I hope I can keep in my mind for a long time, just to pay attention to those uh, little principles of drawing. And I mentioned that because, as you can see here, I'm already noodling with some details, and I haven't even established the overall mech yet. And now, like, I hover over here because I'm tempted to already fill this space in with detail to establish like contours or how the forms are turning. But you know, I would assume uh, for someone like me at my level and as a beginner, like it's not really the best practice to have. But you know, it really does get a little tempting sometimes to just dabble in and you know and bring in what you think you know. Maybe maybe here would be some sort of like a pelvis for our legs. Whenever I think of legs, it's so hard to try and visualize it, especially for something that isn't naturally occurring. Like I think of a kangaroo. Maybe a kangaroo would be the closest thing to whatever the heck this thing is, right? It's a kangaroo. They can stand on 2 feet, and you know they're because their legs have some sort of a shape to them. And I'm not entirely sure if this is accurate, but just basing off from what I would assume a kangaroo's legs would be like, might be something sort of like so, right? Maybe they have that tail that also helps them gain that balance. Perhaps, perhaps there has to be some sort of a turning point for mech here. We can clearly um, showcase ability to maneuver, maybe even just move in general. See now that's a very blurry drawing. It's not clearly communicated because, like I mentioned, the very basic shapes weren't established first in my mind, at least. So yeah, let's just try and move past that one. What I really like about this is that, it really captures what I think when I'm making these pieces. Um, that doesn't happen very often when I'm trying to paint, I think, because, well, maybe it does, but for this one, I feel like I'm just more comfortable talking while trying to draw. And maybe, what shape should I try to work with here? I really like the shape though of for the cockpit area, but I wouldn't assume like mechs would want to have that. It seems like a really awful disadvantage to have this much glass exposed for your mech. Seems like a weak spot to me. Maybe this midsection would be something that would allow them to turn, kind of. And I really hate how this has gotten so symmetrical in nature. Like I was hoping to sort of draw a little bit more on an angle, but it is what it is. Live and learn. Now, what I'm trying to think with these legs is that it's so hard to communicate that on profile view. I intended it to sort of look like this, and the camera is looking through here. So this is the leg, and it's I don't know how to communicate it quite yet, but so we have that curvature going in. So I'm guessing there we could put some overlap here, and then maybe straight down to the feet. I don't know yet. Anything's worth trying at this point. Maybe even show a little bit of that. And all this thinking simply stems from, not having really a lot of acquired knowledge, or as Peter Han would coin it, yeah, as Peter Han would coin the term, is I don't have a lot of mileage. Mileage. So yeah, with very little mileage, there's a lot of guesswork happening. There's also a lot of missed opportunities to correct your mistakes. All right. I don't like this area though. Like mm, it looks like an hourglass almost. With the big shape here and the big shape right there. So I'm trying to think of ways of maybe reducing the impact here. Yeah, that's probably fine for now. I can leave that. This was a this was me trying to draw a helicopter. I'm not sure if I nailed it, but I think I kind of got the idea down a little bit. Now, um, pretty ambitious, but I'm thinking of wanting to draw some sort of like a human along with a mech. Pretty ambitious, I would say. Now, what I'm trying to do in my mind is I'm trying to compose the scene. So firstly, where is my horizon line, or where is my horizon line? Am I going to be looking up or down at the subject? I think I want to have a low horizon line just so I can um, focus on the mech being this massive thing. But then it's going to be pretty hard to draw the mech from this angle and then the foot right here. And to have to foreshorten it, that's also another battle, right? Okay. Let's just try that right now, you know? Everything doesn't have to be everything doesn't have to be a finished piece. That really alleviates thinking that way really alleviates a lot of pressure in my head that I have to perform, this has to be a successful drawing in order to be uploaded. But then, you know, doing that um, eliminates the main purpose of this channel, which is to simply document um, whatever growth I may have in the coming years, pursuing drawing intensively and painting as well. I want to draw the character first just so I can try and scale the entire scene properly. Maybe he's like a nerdy, skinny type of guy who who was able to um, get a full control or heavily utilize the how to operate a mech. So now he's like one of the renowned the renowned I don't know mech operators, I guess. Bring that in so you guys get a sense of how tiny I'm drawing here. But the focus, I guess, wouldn't have to be between this guy here, or the focus would have to be between this guy and our mech. Let's give him some age. Maybe he's starting to bald. No, I haven't really drawn a lot of skinny characters before, um, but I am skinny myself, so I'm just gonna try to maybe go off on what I've observed on my based on my um, knowledge of what a skinny person looks like here, and try to maybe apply that to this character. Oh, yes, another thing that I have to constantly remind myself is that I'm now drawing, I'm now supposed to be drawing everything as if I'm looking down at them because, um, sort of from what we've established on the angle, we see that this neck is sort of rounded like this. So yeah, just thought I'd say that out loud to keep myself aware. Butchered that hand. Like, I was happy with how the hands or the thumb turned out, but I think definitely the overall hand could have been better. That's okay. Maybe this is the control for the mech, or maybe just a communication device or kind of thing. And judging on the paper that I have, the paper space that I've left, maybe the mech could be lying down instead um rather than us looking up and down at it at the same time. Maybe I could extend it even to up to here, but that'd be way too ambitious for my skill level at the moment. It's not really reading as if he's got a bald spot on the top of his head, does he? Hmm. Trying to focus my camera here. Ah, maybe that's good enough. No, the challenge here is that it's going to be very difficult to draw a mech in this angle enough for it to be recognizable at the very least. Ah, screw it. Maybe this mech is just enough, like a mini mech, enough to fit one person in it. Huh, very challenging. Right now, I'm thinking of how to introduce some legs, or at least some more body into this shape, but it's proving to be more difficult than than done, I guess. Okay, gotcha. So I guess maybe it wouldn't necessarily have to have legs, maybe sort of just like a similar wheel system to what tanks have. So yeah, I think I'll just go with that. It's far easier rather than trying to draw a towering mech over this figure that I've already established. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Okay. Sorry, I've been really quiet for the last few moments now. Just trying to think for myself out loud. It's another different kind of work, and it's already 1 a.m. here, so yeah, I'm not exactly as equipped to yap for about an hour more, but I'll do my best here. So yeah, I think my decision for the attached gun right here, I sort of liked initially, but I don't know. something about it doesn't feel right. I think it's not the best placement. Could have been placed over here instead, so that whenever the mech is shooting, the gun is right here rather than right here along the index and the thumb. It's that completely. It's so funny just thinking about it, because that would completely eradicate the utility of being able to grab, because the gun is in the way. Or maybe this is a retractable gun. Um, yeah, yeah, just finding whatever excuse I can make to make the drawing work. I'm scared to sort of fill this area up yet because it's not quite clear. But I do know that this mech is going to be riding on like the same wheel system for the tanks. Just get that established there. So now it's, I don't know, trying to find a way to transition between the body and the hydraulic, or I don't know what this wheel system is called, but I guess a tractor, like a typical construction tractor that we would see, that would often have these booth for the operator. Right? Then they would have that wheeling system, maybe not even that wheel system yet. Um, Maybe I was thinking of the wrong thing here. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. We'll just commit. Looks like the least threatening mech of all time. Like if you see this, you just think of a What do you think when you encounter something like this? I don't know. Maybe like a tractor that's for construction. Just doing what I can to stall some moments until I get a definitive idea for this section here. Maybe this is like a bullet feeder. Kind of tempted to watercolor over this, but this pen that I'm using is not it's not waterproof, so if I apply watercolor to it, it would wash away all of the line work that I have. I think I'll just add some maybe turbo thrusters to him right here. Just to just to add a little bit more spice. All right. Maybe this area is not very clear as far as like what shape it is. There. Okay. Oh boy. I don't know. So now I'm just realizing like there's a big um unevenness between these two. Like the perspective is supposed to be heading this way, that way, that way, that way. So really, I should have had this stretch out over more to over here. Um, I'm just uh, trying to come up with an excuse to remedy that, but it's probably not gonna happen for this drawing. That's quite a quite a tricky problem to resolve. Shorter wheel. My goodness. Who would have thought? All right. I guess there goes my take on a mech. Uh, I think I'll end it here for now. I definitely want to explore more of this, especially when heading back into doing watercolors. Right now, I'm, it's now 1 a.m. and I have a baby waking up soon. So thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Have a good one. See you later.